In my opinion, I hear the Democrats are going to be blamed and the Republicans are going to be blamed. I actually think the president would be blamed. If there is a shutdown, and it's not going to be a horrible shutdown because, as you know, things will sort of keep.
Well, there's a partial shutdown, right?
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States.
Well, the Democrats want to shut it down, so when you shut it down, you have to do layoffs. So we'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and the Democrats, they're going to be Democrats. As you know, this country, no country can afford to pay for illegal immigration, health care for everybody that comes into the country, and that's what they're insisting. A lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things, but they want open borders. They want men playing in women's sports. They want transgender for everybody. They never stop, but they don't learn. We won an election in a landslide. They just don't learn.
Dear God, he was right in the last part. Apparently nobody learns because he's still in office despite that being the way he speaks. Now, you saw in that first clip, Donald Trump saying, well, if the president couldn't get a deal going, I guess it's the president's fault. I have a feeling he probably doesn't agree with that anymore as the government shuts down today. Although you could probably tell from the rapid pace that he was speaking at that was a little while ago. So his opinion has certainly changed since then. His ability to concisely and quickly communicate his thoughts also has degraded a little bit from that point. It was 7 years ago, by the way, and you can see how much he has slowed down over those 7 years. So obviously, forget all of what he said. It's not the president's fault anymore. It's those damn pesky Democrats who simultaneously have been totally beaten and woke is dead and they've got nothing, and yet they're also responsible for everything that happens. And so we're in a shutdown. And the government has launched this website. You can take a look at this here, and let's see if we can figure out who's responsible. Okay, so it says at the top, a little ticker, Democrat shutdown, Democrats in their own words. Then it says Democrats have shut down the government. Then it says Democrats have shut down the government. Then it says Americans don't agree with Democrats' actions. So it's subtle, but I think he's blaming the Democrats for that. The issue, of course, is that the president is a Republican, the Senate is Republican, the House is Republican. You guys have it all. I mean, I feel like you could probably cut a deal. Now, they're trying to get out in front of that responsibility by implying we can't have a deal because the Democrats want transgender for everyone. And literally nobody in America knows what that means. He keeps saying it. It gets Republicans fired up, although again, they don't know what that means. Nobody has ever been transgendered against their will. It's difficult to imagine how that would even work. And the policy-based cover story, to the extent that any of their response to the shutdown is anything other than just identity politics about migrants or about transgender people, it's that they want health insurance for illegals or whatever, which is not a thing. All the Democrats are saying is uncut the $1 trillion in Medicaid funds that you just cut. First of all, stop pretending that it's new funding. We literally had it 3 weeks ago, and it will go back. And undocumented migrants had no capacity or access to that funding before. They would have no new access to it now. They are just lying to you. And they're lying to you not only to avoid culpability for the shutdown, but also, again, to avoid responsibility for those cuts, which we told you then, it was as true then as it is now, are gonna result in millions of Republicans losing access to their health insurance. And what they're bargaining, and this is a version of the bargain that Republicans has used, is you will allow your benefits to be taken away so that migrants who can't access it don't access it. Like, you will go without so that people who never could have gotten it still can't get it. It seems insane. I don't know why that would work, but they've gotten in power multiple times on that sort of argument over and over and over again. And so everywhere you go on the internet now, it's the radical left in Congress shut down the government. First of all, what radical left? Madness. I would love it for the radical left to have shut down Congress. It didn't actually happen. Federal employees are told to brace for a shutdown and to blame Democrats. Trump is saying to all these agencies that not only are going to be shut down, that's what a shutdown is, but that he's saying, maybe I just cut a bunch of stuff I want to cut and it'll be Democrat stuff. So he's telling some people whose jobs he's gonna cut that it don't have to be cut. On your way out, could you please blame Hakeem Jeffries? That would be really nice of you if you could do that. And to those workers, I say, but please don't be suckers. You're about to be fired. At least, go out with like a stiff upper lip or something. But in any event, before we jump into our first discussion, polling is going to evolve over time as both the Democrats and Trump and the Republicans get out there and try to message around this, try to craft a narrative. But as of right now, going into it, NPR, which, apologies, Trump, does still exist. They did some polling and they said that currently it is the Republicans most likely to be given the responsibility for this. 38% say they would be responsible, 27% would say the Democrats, and then 31% say both. And it sort of makes sense when you think about it that the Republicans would be blamed more since, again, they're in charge of literally everything. So anyway, Sharon, I guess sort of expected last week that we would hit this. A deal was possible. Chuck Schumer had backed off in March the last time this was about to happen, but he didn't this time. We're in day one of the shutdown. Maybe eventually that will have to be switched over to tracking the shutdown. For now, though, what do you think?
Yeah, of course Schumer had to do it because they kicked his ass last time. The left saying you're useless here. Listen, I'm not here to disagree with polling, but here I go disagreeing with NPR's polling. I'm still happy they exist. I don't see it that way because the Democrats are so poor at messaging that even though the Republicans really run everything and own everything, including the Supreme Court, I still think the Democrats are going to be blamed for this. And of course, Donald Trump loves it when it's shut down because he really can exercise his best life as a dictator. He's already threatening to fire people. There's already injunctions. So buckle up. I mean, I just think time will tell, but my money is on the Democrats absolutely being blamed for all of this.
It's possible. I feel like in some of the, back under Biden, when we get close to a shutdown, I don't know that the Democrats necessarily ended up getting blamed, even though at that point they were in charge. I don't know. I know that everywhere I look, it's like there's a host on The View. There's people in Washington Post doing op-eds. Saul, it's a trap, Democrats, don't step in his trap. But at this point, it's just all traps. What do you like? I'm sure I agree with you. He's probably gonna act even more like a dictator. But what was he doing anyway? What are any of us doing at this point? Just close your eyes and barrel forward. Just do anything. Don't even think about it beforehand. Especially because for Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, I don't trust what conclusions they would come to. Just do literally anything. Wiggle a little bit. Like I said, just demonstrate to people that Trump is not the only person who exerts action, who makes choices. Do something. And no, I don't want Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries being the ones that are messaging around this, but hopefully it won't just be them. Hopefully they'll send out Jasmine Crockett. Hopefully AOC, we're gonna get to her in a little bit, can do something. I don't know, let's just see, because if anything, maybe it makes it harder for him to advance some of his other things that he would like to be spending the time on. I don't know. There is the risk that it distracts a little bit from Jeffrey Epstein. Again, I don't know. But we need to switch something up because these last few months have been absolutely devastating. Maybe this shuts down a little bit of his capacity to invade American cities over the next month or two. I don't know. We need something new, man, because the status quo was not working.